That's quite a gospel. It's quite a charge, giving up everything. But the flip side of that is when we do give up everything, when we put all relationships, even the relationship with ourselves, in context with our relationship to God, then God gives us back those relationships tenfold, more than we could do. Do we want to love our mother and father? To love them fullest is to love them through God. We want to love our children. To love them most fully is to do it through a relationship with God, because then God blesses that love, blesses that relationship, and makes it the most it can be. So how do we go about doing that? I just did an Episcopal two-step and wiped away a gospel that could be controversial. How do we implement it? How do we go about living into a relationship with God? How do we all do that Episcopal two-step today? How do we do the Christian tango? Well, I brought in the Holy Spigot today because it is Startup Sunday. And those of you who've been around for the Holy Spigot before, some of you have, some of you haven't, know that the Holy Spigot comes from a movie that came out in the 1980s in which a young priest is delivering a sermon and he gets very nervous and he's trying to be very relevant, and at the end of the service the head priest comes to him and says, "You know, I loved your sermon, you're trying to do well, but you know, when it comes to the Trinity, I don't think we're ready to hear about the big guy, the main dude, and the Holy Spigot." But the Holy Spigot is actually a wonderful analogy, because when you open up the Holy Spigot, the Spirit rushes forth and feeds us, nourishes us, helps us grow into that relationship we want to have, that helps make all those other relationships we want to have the best they can possibly be. And I've got a couple of little items, as always, in the Holy Spigot to share with you today. And as it is Startup Sunday, we have lots of things going on today. I wanted to share with you just very specifically a thought that we might have missed after hearing the gospel. St. Paul says in his letter, "I am appealing to you for my child Onesimus, whose father I have become in my imprisonment." Now, does this mean that Paul had a little affair when he was in prison and had a child? No, it doesn't. It means that Paul had a spirit of adoption and of love and a sense of family that moved beyond himself. And he goes on to commit not only himself but his earthly resources in support of this person. It's about relationship. Today is all about relationship with God, and particularly remembering the relationship we have with children, whether they be our children, our neighbor's children, adopted children, honorary nephews like I have, or be recognizing the child in each and every one of us. It's about relationship, Paul says today, and relationship brings with it generosity and commitment. So, later today, I hope a number of you back to attend the first in our Presidential Library series talks. And Benjamin Harrison had a favorite food. We'll be sampling all of the presidential foods in the libraries. And this food was squirrel soup. And our very dear Joanne Drew has been on a quest to find squirrel soup and was not able to find squirrel. It's evidently squirrel is really popular. The vendors in Columbus are out of it right now. It's a really, believe it or not, it's one of those ecologically friendly foods that tastes sort of halfway between chicken and venison. But anyway, don't think squirrel, we're having rabbit soup. So when I heard we're having rabbit soup, I thought to myself, oh, I seem to remember I had a stuffed rabbit when I was little. So I brought in my little stuffed rabbit to show you. I used to line up all of my stuffed animals down a long corridor in my parents' home growing up. And I would have Eucharist for them with saltines and grape juice. So if someone does that when they're 8, you probably can figure what they'll turn out to be when they're, well, 55. But this rabbit, though, is very special to me, and I was precocious even then because I named all my animals. And this rabbit's name was Soufflé. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's Soufflé. We're going to have rabbit soup. Finally, another thought to share with you about relationship and adoption and not losing sense of being a child. There is a wonderful new piece of music, and because the choir is back and is singing all these glorious classical pieces of music, I just have to share a piece of country music. So here we go. It's from Thomas Rhett. And he has a new song that says, "Remember Me Young." And he talks about all the things you do growing up and being a teenager and a young adult and all the transgressions we have in our lives. And then he says, "And no matter how much time goes by, and no matter how much we grow up, for worse or for better, from now till forever, I'll ever remember you young. Hey babies crawling on the carpet, no, you won't be that little for long. One day you'll move away, but you're still going to stay this innocent after you've gone. Because no matter how much time goes by, and no matter how much you grow up, for worse or for better, from now till forever, I'll always remember you young." And this is my favorite part, and I think it's true for all of us here today. I hope when we all get to heaven, God looks at us all like we're kids, shameless and painless and perfect and ageless, and forgives all the wrongs that we did. And no matter how much time goes by, I hope we'll never have to grow up. And God will say, for worse or for better, from now till forever, I'll always remember you young.